back to the Six-Out Calcio podcast. Once again, I'm joined by Danny and Francesca. Boys, how are you doing?
Fantastic.
I'm good, and a little stressed out, but it's all good because Italy prevailed, and I'm just looking forward to our quarterfinal matchup against Belgium.
Yep, so last time we were on, obviously we recapped the group stage and we previewed the Austria match, which just took place this past Saturday. And what a crazy one. I think it's fair to say we all agreed we thought it would be a little bit easier than it was. I'm not saying I expected some kind of a blowout, because obviously any round of 16 match is very difficult because the team you're playing doesn't need to win. It's not like you're playing like a team like Hungary, and then there's one game left in the group stage, and they can't park the bus. They need to score to win, or else they're not making it past the group. Austria, if they don't attack, they could just sit back and then go to extra time and penalties and try to squeeze out a win on pens. So these small teams are always risky because they don't really attack you too much. But in the second half, Austria really did take it to us. They attacked us constantly. They kept pressing. They played hard. And there's moments where you thought the game could have been over. So we'll just get right into it on this pod and start recapping it. I guess I'll start off here with what I thought and everything. First half, to start off, like the beginning part of the first half, I wasn't happy at all. We were very sloppy. We couldn't make 2 passes in a row. It was very bad. But as the first half went on, our attacking play continued to get better, and that was all from Spinazzola, to be honest. Most of our chances really came from Spina. He was the protagonist throughout most of the match, hence why he won the Man of the Match award. But in the first half, it was really only Spina causing any issues. I think the biggest chance we had really was Spina blowing by 2 guys, playing Barella in, who one time the outside of his boots, and then outside his boot, and the goalie made a nice save there, which honestly, a save like that looks easy, but it's not at all. When the ball's curling like that, you never know what's going to happen with that much power. And it's kind of awkward. I know, Dan, you probably know as a keeper, because you played goalie your whole life. When the ball's coming right at you, but a little bit to the side, sometimes it's confusing because you can't really dive for it. But at the same time, It's not really coming right at you. So it's kind of like in a weird distance where it's hard to judge quickly. But the keeper did a good job there.
The goalie did a very good job. I know if Barella would have hit more to the left, so I should say more to the right, it would have been in. But when the way Barella hit it, it took a curve, but good enough curve for the goalie to stay strong and make a big foot save, like his foot save. And it's easier. It's not as easy as it looks, like, especially as a goalkeeper, because you always have to worry about it maybe curving a little bit more to the right, maybe taking a deflection off a defender, and it goes the completely opposite way. But the shot was hit clean. The goalie got a good view on it, and he made a big save on Barella and kept Austria 0-0 through the 90 minutes.
Yeah, no, definitely. That was a really nice save. Probably the best chance we had in the first half. Another one which almost made me throw up was Immobile on the breakaway, kind of.
Oh, no.
Quite a few times. And, I'm very critical and just critical of Immobile in general, for Italy or not Italy. But, the ball bounced a few times. He couldn't control it. He kind of looked like a little kid at the playground with a bouncy ball. It was very frustrating. And when he finally did get control of the ball, he's not the quickest striker, we all know. So they caught up and they managed to clear it. But that should have been a goal, or at least some kind of chance, because you do not mess that up. That was a golden ticket right there. I really thought we were going to be up 1-0. And throughout the whole first half and match, Immobile was horrendous, but we'll get more into it later. Then the second half came around, and it was pretty much all downhill from there. Obviously, we all know Austria, Arnautovic scored, and it was disallowed. Thank God. There's a penalty check, but it was offside, and it was a bunch. The referee display, by the way, was horrendous. It was actually terrible, like maybe one of the worst I've seen in a while. I understand the ref trying to let the play go on and not trying to call and be an overkill, but this guy let everything go on. Like, you could have got shot that game, and he would have let it play on. Like, it was bad. And the players battled through it. Austria had their chances. We weathered the storm, kind of. And we went on to extra time. In the second half, I was just, it's really hard to blame it on one guy. The whole team really played bad. I was very disappointed in our attack, and nobody's really able to create anything. But the whole game changed, like everyone knows, when Chiesa and Pessina came on, and Belotti, and just all those guys came in, and they really changed the match. Obviously, our goals came from the substitutes, Chiesa and Pessina. And in the extra time, I feel like we felt more in control. Italy was doing their thing again. They got rhythm to it, and I think it's all because when we were playing the first and second half, almost every attack came from the left side, and all Austria would do is put their whole team to clog up that side, and no space for Spina or Insigne or anyone to move. And they would leave the right side because they weren't doing anything. But once Chiesa came in, Austria had to worry about both sides, and that gave space for Spina, who actually ended up playing the ball to Chiesa for the goal. And obviously Chiesa is someone who's very direct, which I like about him. He always goes for a goal. He has balls. He's not going to shy away from taking a shot I usually don't take. And he's very composed there to bring down the ball, wait, and then shoot when he had a better, more space to free up a shot instead of letting it go right away. But yeah, I was very happy to see Mancini bring in Chiesa very late, though. Should have brought him in much earlier, maybe even a halftime of the regulation, but it's okay. Came in, scored, Messina as well. And then 2-0 up. I'm like, okay, that's done. Austria got one back. I honestly wasn't too nervous after that. I did not see Austria getting another one. A few moments were like, oof, a little shaky, but we managed to survive. Bellotti did good when he came in to work hard and sacrifice himself for the team. He came back like an animal. I think he had as many tackles as Bonucci and Cherby in like a quarter of the time, not even. He was
Relax there.
Bonucci, well, yeah, and he also had a big mistake in the match, but we're not going to get into that too much. Thank God it lead to a goal. The whole team had a lot of mistakes, to be honest. But yeah, Velotti had so many tackles. As a striker to come back like that kind of reminded me of Mandzukic at Juve. But yeah, overall we got the win. I was very happy. I was very, very disappointed in the guys who we look really up to. For the young ones at least, they look to Immobile, they look to Insigne, they look to Verratti, Jorginho, Berardi, and did not deliver at all. As Insigne, I think since the first match, he hasn't been bad. I don't think that's unfair to say he's been bad. He's had some good moments. I just think the decision making is questionable, like when he should shoot, when he shouldn't shoot, when he should pass, when he shouldn't pass, when he should take on the defender and not back down, turn around and play back, or when he should. I'm not worried about Insigne though. I know he will step up eventually, just hopefully next match, because now if Insigne and Immobile, these guys, you can't say, oh, they're young. Now they're in their prime, and Insigne is 30. Immobile, I'm actually not sure how old he is, but I know he's not young.
I think he's 32 or 31.
32?
Like,
yeah.
31. I think 31, around like 31, 32.
Yeah, so these guys, this is their time now. In the World Cup, Immobile, I don't think we'll see. Insigne, I think we'll probably see, because for Napoli, it's phenomenal. But for Italy, other than that first match, it's been kind of shaky, and I really hope he can get back into it for the Belgium game, which I have confidence that he will. One thing I did like about Insigne, though, is that even though he's having a very off game, he ran back, he pressed, he was still doing other things, which I can appreciate. But Immobile, when he's not scoring, he's doing nothing. He's a striker that takes 10 chances to get one goal, and everyone knows that. He's a poacher, and he doesn't offer much if he's not scoring. So Immobile, everything we feared coming into the tournament happened, and right now we could have been recording different podcasts about why we got eliminated and why Immobile should never wear an Italy kit again. So it could have been a completely different story, but you know what? Enough being negative. We pulled away, we got the win, and I'm proud of the boys. Dan, how are you feeling?
Yeah, so you recapped the match very well, actually. So I'm just gonna say what I saw that I liked. A few things that I liked was the Mancini stuff. Finally, when they brought in Chiesa and Pessina, you could see that Italy were taking this step forward and they were attacking more. I didn't like the way we played through the whole 90 minutes at all. I know it's I know we're all nervous because it's a one and done game, but I was even getting more nervous because I know Italy could play a lot better and they weren't living up to the expectations I had. I knew Austria were going to be a little tough. I was even saying it too. Can't take these guys lightly because they do have some quality players who can make you pay. like Alaba, who's very good for Austria, and he's also a pretty good player as well. Sabitzer, who is one of the best midfielders in the German league. The guy can create. His passing range is incredible, and he can shoot from anywhere and score. So that's one thing too. Like we have to look out for. Italy did do pretty well, weathering the storm of the Austrian attack. Donnarumma made some big saves when his time came. He made a beautiful save. I believe it was either on Sabitzer or Slaga when they shot it outside the box, and he made that nice diving left-handed save and kept Italy at par at 0-0. He collected the ball very well. His passing with his feet was actually improved from this game rather than the other games. And also a few things I like too, when Belotti came in, the guy's just an animal. He took on like 4 or 5 defenders leading up to a free kick. He won the free kick where Insigne took it, and the goalie made a beautiful save, or else we could have been talking about one of the goals of the tournament. And our first goal coming from a free kick in the tournament. And another thing I like too was the fullback play. I feel like Spinazzola is just a monster, man. The guy's making a case of why he can be easily a top 5 left back in the world at this Euros. And also Di Lorenzo too. For me, he had a solid display, especially going up against David Alaba, who is a very tough company, and I feel like he did his part. He held him in check for most of the game, and he also made a beautiful run. I believe it was an extra time where he just ran by like 4 or 5 guys. Too bad the shot he took was very poor, but it was also too that he was going very fast. He didn't have time to set. But if that would have went in, and I don't know if I would have been on this podcast, I probably would be hungover still. How happy how excited I was getting when I saw him do that run. It was like a Messi run for me. But one thing too, Chiesa changed the game, and he made a case for himself why he should be starting against Belgium. Also, too, I know this is going to be a very hot take, but maybe Mancini could consider even Belotti starting. I feel like the way the Belgium defends, I feel like Belotti would have a big impact in this game. But we'll see with that. And also, too, I feel like Italy against Belgium now. Belgium are a very quality side. They got the likes of Lukaku, Forgan Hazard, who scored that beautiful goal yesterday. De Bruyne, they got Mertens off the bench, or if he might start, who knows. So they got some good quality players in their squad. I feel like the way Belgium play, and one thing we can get them on is defensively. I'm not sold on them defensively. Their defense is a little too old and slow for our attack. But the one person you have to look out for is Meunier, who's been having a very good tournament. So he's going to be one guy to look out for. But overall, I feel like it's going to be a good attacking match. I feel like both sides are going to be up for it, and hopefully the Azzurri could prevail. But Joe, what do you think about the
I think you guys both hit the nail on the coffin there. One thing I want to mention that I don't think anyone's mentioned yet is Verratti's status in the team. I think, Enzo, you said it best in the chat we have. Verratti and Jorginho just can't play together. They're just too similar. They lack creativity when they're on the pitch at the same time. They're both great players. It just, when you have two similar players, it just doesn't gel well. We saw when Locatelli came on especially, how much our attack opened up more and how fluent we were. Like you said, the first half, I think we were more dominant. The second half, the Austrian coach, I have no idea who he is, but very smart coach. He said, okay, guys, Spinazzola is the only player doing stuff. Let's lock him down. Let's lock down that whole side. Because the right side, Berardi, that guy, I don't know how he's still getting starts over Chiesa. Immobile wasn't doing anything. Insigne was on the left, but it was mainly Spinazzola. And so they kind of just locked down that whole left side, like Enzo was saying earlier. And it was basically the biggest thing of disrespect I've ever seen. They put all their guys on the left side, knowing we wouldn't switch it over to the right side, because our right side was invisible. And it actually worked in their favor. Like you guys said, we could have been on a totally different podcast talking about how we're out of the Euros. But thank God, after the second half, we survived that monstrosity. And we came into extra time back into form we remotivated ourselves, and the whole of extra time I feel like we were more dominant. Just an unlucky goal. Nothing you could have stopped there. It was just an unlucky bounce for us. But I think it was great that it went to extra time. I actually prefer it this way because it's a good wake up call. Obviously, we've been performing well against Switzerland, Turkey, Wales, and we're saying, okay, like we're doing good, no one could stop us. And now this is like, oh shit, Austria almost knocked us out in the round of 16. So it's a great wake up call, especially when we're facing a big team like Belgium and we're on a hard bracket where we could have potentially France in the semifinals. So it's just saying like, okay, keep our composure, don't get too worked up, and just keep calm. I think this is going to be the match of the tournament. I've been telling a couple of my friends this. It's going to be the match that defines Chiellini, Bonucci, Spinazzola, Di Lorenzo, and Donnarumma for sure. They're definitely going to attack us.
We'll see
like,
if Chiellini's fit enough.
If he's fit, Mancini, I am praying. If Chiellini is not fit, that Bastoni gets the start over Cherby.
Yeah, no, I would
because
go for
there's
Bastoni.
no. I don't like Cherby that much. I don't see anything special in him. With Bonucci, he's a ball-playing defender. He always gets those long balls up, and sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. But he's an experienced defender. You could say that. He's won multiple trophies. He has a great partnership with Chiellini. He's on a winning team. Like, you could say he's an experienced defender. At Cherby, you can't use that term. I don't know what he's done just because he's old doesn't mean he's experienced. I don't think he's anything special. I really hope Bastoni gets the start over him.
Well, from Chad, now that we're on the topic, honestly, like both of you, starting from Chad, what changes would you make to the starting 11 going into Friday?
See, this is hard. Like, I want to say I'd start Chiesa, but like, people have also made the point, like, if we are, need a fresh pair of legs, Berardi's not a fresh pair of legs. The way he's been playing this tournament, I wouldn't trust him off the bench. I wouldn't trust him starting 11. He's not doing anything special. So that's why Chiesa's been on the bench. But now this is against Belgium, so I would have to start Chiesa. I would start Belotti. I think Immobile's just been horrendous. So I think the thing I like about Belotti is you could tell he's pissed off. It's kind of like Buffon. Yeah, it's kind of like Buffon watching Chesney. When you see someone that is worse than you and there's nothing you could do about it but just sit on the bench and complain to the coach afterwards, like, it's stressful. So the fact that Belotti got to come on and make a huge impact for Italy and show Mancini's like, listen, even if I don't score, I'm going to work my ass off for this team. And that's exactly what he did. He was pressuring everyone. Every single time Italy didn't have the ball, he was running like a bulldog. He was getting in, getting physical, and they were clean tackles too, not like Austria, who were just elbowing Spinazzola in the stomach when he was already on a yellow card. And Anthony Taylor, you know, the English ref, the reason why English refs weren't in the World Cup, by the way, just letting it go. I felt like Austria got like 200 warnings and like, I think they got like 3 yellow cards in total. So disaster of a ref. But Belotti was getting clean tackles. He was pressuring well, and I think it was like, hey, Mancini, listen, I swear Immobile fixed this here more times than he's touched the ball. And that's saying something. Belotti showed Mancini why he deserves to start and why he fights for the jersey unlike Immobile does. Immobile got one shot that was like, oh shit, that was a nice shot. But other than that, like Enzo said, he needs 10 of those chances before he gets one actual good chance.
And I feel like too, if say you go with Belotti against Belgium, but we'll see, because I know Mancini might just go for Immobile.
I think Immobile is going to start.
I also wouldn't mind Immobile coming off the bench, say in the 60th, 70th minute, if say Belotti isn't playing up to his standards. You bring in a guy like Immobile when the legs are getting tired and stuff, and boom, it'll be like kind of like a Chiesa situation where he comes in and he produces a spark. For me, if the changes I would make, I don't know, French, if you're done, but I'm just gonna say my quick changes in the attack.
Go ahead.
I would start Chiesa because I don't want to do another Austria game because Belgium will make us pay 10 times more than Austria will if we play the way we did. I'll give Italy a little credit too. Not credit, but I'll say this. Who knows if something with the legs, because really half these guys, a lot of these guys who played didn't play that last game. So basically, they didn't play in, say, 2 weeks, you can say, or a week and a half instead of how many days off they had. So hopefully the legs keep going. They're up and going, and they're up for the Belgium match. But for me, I would start Chiesa over Berardi because Berardi, I'm gonna say this right now, he's making my head spin. A few times against Austria, I was like, what the hell is this guy doing? This guy could then pass it to Insigne or Immobile, and he's shooting it. And then in the 90th minute, instead of going for a simple play where he can either control it and hit it, or even just try to header it on target, the guy's going for a bicycle kick. Like, fight.
Yeah, that was
We're
so
tied 0-0 in
stupid.
the 90th minute. We're not 4-0 up against San Marino in a friendly. This is a round of 16 matchup where we're tied 0-0 in the 90th minute. There's a chance, there's a great chance we're going to extra time, and you're pulling off a bicycle kick. So that right there wasn't I wasn't a fan of that as well. So from that moment, I think I would start Chiesa because he can provide more, and especially on the left side of Belgium, it's not as strong as people think it. It's not as strong. The strong suit in the tournament. It's more the right side on Mounier's side. So I feel like Chiesa on that left side could expose the Belgium defense and get it in behind and cause problems for them. So that would be my change in the attack. And then, French, I'll let you go for any other changes.
Yeah, I think I'd leave the team. I think I mentioned it before. Just Chiellini instead of Acerbi. If he's not fit, I'd put Bastoni in. Other than that, I'd start Locatelli. I'd start Locatelli in the mid. I would do Locatelli, Jorginho, Barella. I think that would be much better. Even though Verratti's been incredible so far, I just think him and Jorginho are very similar. And we won games when Verratti wasn't there. I think why change it if it's not broken? I just think against Belgium especially, their best player, obviously, I'm going to say it's De Bruyne. I think the way he creates is amazing. But I would say their second best player, other than Lukaku, is Courtois. I think he's a very important player for them. It's going to be much harder to score against Belgium because they have Alderweireld, who's a great defender, Vertonghen, who's arguably good defender. Then the other third guy, Vermaelen, who would probably start. Not too worried about him, but they play as a good defensive unit. Not to mention, when you get past them, you have Courtois, who's been phenomenal this tournament, who's won the Golden Glove at the World Cup, so he's on a high pedigree. He's a great keeper. I think it'll be much harder to score. So we got to make sure we have an attacking prowess to us, not like Austria where we kind of got dominated the second half, because we got to make sure we're scoring before Belgium do, so we could kind of make them press higher and get more chances open.
Yeah, and it's funny you brought up Vermaelen, maybe one of the worst players I've ever seen in my life. His time at Roma made me want to cry every time he had the ball. And
the Belgium Lugani.
Yeah, but for real. So, if Vermaelen plays and we don't score, then we just pack up and go home already, because that's embarrassing. But, yeah, no, I think you guys covered it well. Going into the match, I wouldn't say I'm confident, because obviously Belgium, there's always some doubt when you're playing a team that good. And my expectation, I don't know what it is, to be honest. We'll see how the match plays out. It'll change throughout the match, I assume, like usual. But I'm just hoping the guys give it their all. They impose their will. And I just really hope, like, my biggest worry is that we're going to miss a lot of big chances. Like, that cannot happen in these big games, because you don't get that many of them. That's why I don't want Immobile to start, but he probably will. To change to the starting 11, you guys already said them well, like,
Yep.
It's going to be probably Chiesa, hopefully Belotti, and maybe Locatelli, because Jorginho and Verratti are way too similar to really play them alternate. They're all very short as well in midfield. If you look at our starters, like Jorginho, Verratti, Barella, they're not the biggest guys, which can be a problem.
Locatelli brings height.
Yeah, at least Locatelli can bring some height and some scoring ability, which I don't think Barella has some, but not too much. But Verratti and Jorginho really don't have that much scoring ability in them. Verratti a bit more than Jorginho, but we'll see what Mancini does. He's the coach for a reason. He'll make the big decision, but also, like you guys said, Bastoni, if Chiellini's not fit, I really want to see Bastoni in there. And that's about it, really. The rest I wouldn't really
Yeah.
touch. I think everyone else did their part. Insigne, I think no matter how bad he plays, I always expect him to bounce back. I think he will. He's a great player for a reason, so I'm really hoping we see Insigne we see at Napoli against Belgium. That'd be a huge difference maker. Immobile, I hope he's on his way back to Rome to start a training camp with Lazio for next season already, because I don't want to see him there. But he'll most likely start, to be honest. But yeah, nothing really else for starting 11 that I'd change. Previewing the match, obviously, like you guys did a good job of it already. I'll bring up now Hazard and De Bruyne are questionable for the game. We don't know what's going to go on there. I see De Bruyne like post everywhere saying, "Oh, he's done for the Euros," but I really don't know. I haven't seen anything confirmed. Hazard's another one. Him, I can care less if he plays, to be honest, because he doesn't really make an impact at all. So, Hazard playing doesn't really bother me if he does play, at least. But what do you guys think, De Bruyne and Hazard? What can that mean for Italy if those guys are missing?
Yeah, if those guys aren't, I think Hazard most likely could be out for the game, depending. Martinez just said in a press conference that those guys aren't done yet, so who knows with them. But I think if De Bruyne and Hazard do have to miss, that's gonna be a huge loss for Belgium. We saw when De Bruyne went out yesterday that they couldn't really create much. Lukaku wasn't a big factor at all. The Portuguese defense held them in check, and Mertens came in and he really didn't do much of an impact. And also too, when Yannick Carrasco came in, it seemed like their attack got worse. The guy, I don't know what is up with him. He had so much talent at one point, then he went to China, and he hasn't been the same since. So I think without Hazard, De Bruyne, it's gonna be hard for Belgium to create chances and give the ball to Lukaku to let him work his magic, because the guy's just a beast. The guy's a top 3 striker in the world, but I think he can't do it by himself, especially against the Italian defense who played against him, and they have good numbers against Lukaku with Bonucci and Chiellini. So hopefully Chiellini can start, but Bastoni has to slot in. Hopefully he does the job too, because he trained against Lukaku every day in training, so he knows what to expect. But if De Bruyne, even if just De Bruyne plays, I'm going to say that because he's more likely to play than Hazard, in my opinion. We have to watch out for him because this guy can make a pass that we can't even see. So we have to make sure we don't let De Bruyne work his magic, because the guy's the best midfielder in the world and he's going to make us pay, and we just have to watch out because he can score a goal from anywhere. He can create a goal from anywhere. And even also too, we have to look out for Hazard's brother, Thorgan Hazard. It proved yesterday too, he can score out of nothing. So we have to watch out for them. They got some good players even without Hazard and De Bruyne that we have to look out for. But I feel like if Hazard and De Bruyne don't play, we can contain them more than say if those guys do play. It's gonna be an interesting matchup, and I'm excited for the game. I like especially because these are 2 heavyweights going at it. I'm gonna be nervous when the game starts. Hopefully the Azzurri could prevail, and the next podcast we talk on, we're all in good spirit.
Yeah. I just think this. If De Bruyne does play, we're gonna have to get Bonucci in a carbon face mask like Rudiger in the Champions League final. I think we should be good marking him like that. But like you guys said, he's phenomenal, one of the best midfielders in the world. Make a pass out of anything. He just creates for everyone. As far as Hazard, I think he's been Belgium's best player. I think this shows how much power the Premier League has in media. I've always thought Hazard was better than his brother Eden. Eden just happened to play for Chelsea. Had so much hype. Now he's at Madrid. He's doing nothing. Thorgan's kind of been consistent in the Bundesliga or wherever he's been playing, and he's been putting up consistent numbers and playing good. And I think, Enz, you called it last podcast, Belgium score out of nothing. Like that chance shouldn't have even that chance shouldn't have even happened. And he just had so much room. The Portuguese defender's like, okay, shoot, like nothing's gonna happen. And the way he just aimed at perfectly. Rui Patricio just was shocked. I think he got a hand to it, but it was just too powerful, went in, or he just missed the fingertips away.
Yeah.
So it was just a well-aimed goal. It was to perfection. And I think that's who we have to worry about mostly.
You could say, some can argue, especially as a goalie, he kind of took his step a little too wide, allowing the shot. He underestimated the ball. He thought the ball was going to go maybe near post, so he kind of cheated a little bit. It took that one extra step, but take nothing less of Hazard's shot. It was a beautiful shot, the way it curved and dipped after. And Patricio, it looked easy to save the goals. We're like, what the hell was he doing? But he kind of cheated a little bit because he was thinking maybe Hazard was going to go near post. But Hazard, what a wonderful shot. And he found a way to beat Patricio, who was having a very strong game, who was having a strong tournament for Portugal. He's made some big saves for them. But take nothing less, it's going to be an interesting game. And I'm a little nervous talking about it now. I was thinking about it, but I'm excited to see two heavyweights go at it. And Azzurri.
The only thing I'm confident in is Portugal's defense is good. It's not great, it's just good. Patricio is a great keeper. If Belgium struggled, because they didn't have a lot of chances, I think the Hazard chance.
One shot on target.
Yeah,
one.
Yeah. And it was the Hazard, and it was from outside of the box, and it was an absolute wonder goal. It was a rocket. It's not something he could recreate over and over again if he wanted to, because if he could, he'd be at a bigger team. I just think if the Portuguese defense could lock them down like that, and they're missing João Cancelo, they're missing their top fullbacks, I think the Italian defense, as long as they're composed and they're not too frustrated like we got against Austria in the second half where we were doing stupid things, I think we could challenge Belgium, especially Chiellini. He's locked down Lukaku before when he was at Inter. As long as you know how to defend certain players, you're good. Just De Bruyne, we gotta deal with him we gotta prepare to deal with him. I hope Mancini's training to deal with De Bruyne, because chances are he is gonna play. He didn't look too hurt from the looks of it. And we just gotta hope Italy play well and Italy play their game, because if they play their game, they're gonna win.
Yeah, definitely. And when you're saying I was right, I thought you were going to mention how Calcio scored for Austria, because I did predict that in the last podcast.
Yeah, he did.
How he come off the bench and score.
Got 6-7, man. There's not much.
Yeah.
And that goal too was you could say, yeah, it was lucky. It was all his big frame diving for the ball. There's not much the Italian defense Donnarumma could do. They had two guys on them, so it was just an unlucky goal to allow. But gotta give that guy credit. The guy has, I believe, I saw a stat yesterday. He has 9 headed goals. With that one, he scored. So it was just unlucky. But hey, guy's a big body, and who knows? And maybe at Roma, him and Belotti, imagine that.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I think he deserves a big move. I've always rated Calcio for a while now. I think he's a great player. And the goal's probably Jorginho's fault, because he was covering near post.
Yeah.
So he fell asleep there, but it's all right. I wish he didn't score, but I kind of had a feeling he would. Just how our defense plays and Chadby being there and how tall he is. I had a feeling he'd get at least a good chance in there. But yeah, for Belgium, you guys covered it well. And before we end the pod, I want to ask both of you guys, Oster up here, your keys to the match, maybe 1, 2, 3 of them. Just a couple of keys what you think will happen, even if it's one. For me, first off, scoring. I think it's our biggest one. The rest of the team does not worry me. Goal scoring does. We struggled greatly against Austria. I don't think Belgium will sit back as much, so it shouldn't be as difficult in some aspect, but also their quality is much higher than Austria, so it kind of evens out. What we need, in my opinion, is mixing up attacks, versatility, attack from different sides. Hopefully Chiesa is starting as well, so it can strengthen the right side, so Spina and Insigne can't just get clogged into a corner. But we can't depend on Spina to create every opportunity we make in the attack. So mix it up, be versatile, give different guys a look, and confuse Belgium. Don't make it so predictable like last game. And just don't let what Austria did in that second half. Just don't let us clog into one side, and just keep our good players there. Mix it up. Hopefully Chiesa plays like we know he can. Yeah, I'm sure he will. Chiesa is a great player. And that's really it. Immobile, I think he will start. I think Immobile and Insigne probably have the most pressure on them out of anyone on this team. They need to step up. If they play good, I think we'll win. I think that's how simple it is, really. If they show up, I think we'll win this match. If Chiesa starts, and that's it, really. Those are really the keys to the match. Just be versatile. Defensively and in the midfield, I'm not too worried. Lukaku, Chiellini's seen him before. Even if he didn't, Bastoni, he practices from every week. So he knows how he plays. De Bruyne, I'm not sure if he's going to play or not, but if he does, then hopefully we can just send a lot of bodies to him and make him uncomfortable throughout the whole match. Hazard, hopefully Di Lorenzo, lock him down, which I think he can. Di Lorenzo's been great this tournament. And those are really my keys to match. Attack, score, and mix it up. Don't be so predictable. Dan, how about you?
Yeah, for me, I agree with all your points. I think versatile. They have to allow, especially if Chiesa starts, I believe they should use the right side more. And also as well, we haven't really seen it this tournament, but at Napoli too, I've seen it a lot. Allow Di Lorenzo to attack because the guy, I believe he had 6 assists this season. I could be wrong. So he's a fullback that can do both. And when he attacks, he can provide an assist or so. And it proved last game in extra time, that run he did when he blew by everyone, that his attacking ability. So for me, I feel like we should use the right side more, especially if Chiesa starts. So allow both players, say Chiesa and also Di Lorenzo, to attack the defense and cause problems for them. So versatile, like just use both sides for me. Also, this is key for Italy if they want to succeed and shut down Belgium. Don't let De Bruyne and Lukaku cause problems, because if those guys start causing problems, it's going to be a long 90 minutes for us. So all the defense, the midfield, whoever, all 11 guys, even Donnarumma has to be ready for those 2 guys to work, because Belgium have other guys too that can step up. So prepare, if you lock them down, prepare for as well the other guys to step up as well. And this for me has to be a key point. Just there's times against Austria where we tried rushing the play. Just calm down a little bit and let the play build up. There's a few times where Insigne or say Berardi had the chance to pass it, just take an extra touch and then pass it, and they would end up taking another touch, which caused a big mess where we had no option after, and then they were forced to shoot or lose the ball after. Or there'd be times where Berardi and Insigne had the ball, and instead of passing it like first time, or passing it after a touch, they would pass it first time and they would just lose the balls in key areas. So we have to calm down a lot, set the tone early, get our tempo going early, because it seems like Italy really, in the first half, for me, didn't really settle into the match until maybe the 15th, 16th minute. But then the second half, they were just a disaster. They didn't settle into that half at all. So for me, set the tone early. And another key point I have to get a goal early, because if you can get a goal early, that will change the mood for the game, for Italy at least, the whole game. It seems like Italy are the type of team that if they score early, which they, knock on wood, they have been the whole tournament. The first 4 games we played, we scored the first goal, and it seemed like that Italy got that confidence and they got their mojo when they scored the first goal. So for me, scoring the first goal is a key factor if they want to beat Belgium, because then you allow them to attack, and then we can count on them with the pace of Chiesa, Insigne, and who knows, Belotti or Immobile. So score first is a key factor, and just play hard, man. Just play for your country, play for the fans watching, even though some of them don't even know half these players where they play. Just play hard for them, and just play with heart and go down with a fight. So those are my keys to the match.
Yeah, I agree with those. Those have been great keys. For me, I want to take a different approach. I want to move away from the physical keys and go into the mental keys. I think we got to be composed, have some composure. The only way I see Belgium scoring is from a counter attack. After someone in the attack loses the ball or we get dispossessed, because it's going to happen. We're not going to have a shot on target every time we're in the attacking half. So when we do get dispossessed, how quick we are to run back and get in position and defend, because like we all said, De Bruyne just one long ball to Lukaku or Hazard or the other Hazard or Mertens, whoever it is, and just outpaces, because Chiellini, when we're on the attack, Chiellini pushes up, he kind of edges closer and closer, because he always gets excited and giddy for that goal, for that special moment to attack, to be part of it. He doesn't like sitting back when you're just controlling the ball for time. He always wants to be a part of it. Bonucci will be back, but he's slow. He's not Usain Bolt over here. And Spinazzola and Di Lorenzo always join the attack, which is how Italy played. It's how our attack have been so good recently. So I think off the counter attack, we gotta be composed. We gotta make sure we're aware of our surroundings. Like, okay, if we lose the ball like here, how quick can I mark Lukaku? How quick can I mark this player, or just get back into position? I think that's a key that we really have to focus on, because I think one counter attack and Belgium are 1-0 up, and then the second key is to keep calm, keep our heads on, because if we are 1-0 down, we saw when Austria were 1-0 up. Even before then, it was kind of like we were playing a lot frustrated. We couldn't get past Austria's defense. We were playing stupid passes. We were taking stupid shots. We were underestimating our opponents. And I think if Belgium go 1-0 up, how we respond to that goal, and we can't get too frustrated unless they score at like the 85th minute. Then I agree, just do whatever you need to do to get the ball in the net. But if it's at the 60th minute, or if it's in the first half, just keep calm, play your game. Eventually we'll get a goal. I think we gotta have that mentality. And the third and most important part is play physical. Against Portugal, I saw Belgium. They're a very physical team, not as physical as Austria. And we saw against Austria were being physical towards us. We weren't being physical back. And we saw that, you have to understand the ref too. I think I'm going to have that as a bonus. Understand the ref. Anthony Taylor is a Premier League ref. He's an English ref. He's used to roughness. So when Austria are getting down and dirty with us and elbowing us and getting dirty things where the ref can't see, and he can't give what he can't see. Also, he's more lenient with physical play. I think Italy could have been more physical against Austria, and we weren't. Against Belgium, I'm not sure who the ref is yet, but understand the ref. So if it's a ref, kind of play it out. If it's a ref's like, okay, I'm being a little too physical here, but the ref's allowing it, okay, let's be a little more physical. Kind of test the referee and see how physical we could be, because if we could be physical, try to be physical, kind of just make sure, just scuff them up a bit. De Bruyne is on an injury. It's not severe injury, but he is on an injury. So the right clean tackle obviously could hinder his game. Same with Hazard if he does play. I don't think Hazard is playing. Same with Lukaku. Lukaku throws his body into a lot of people, and sometimes he gets away with this, sometimes he doesn't. So if we could just match that energy, I'm sure Chiellini will. Just match Lukaku's body him back, kind of physical him a little bit, rough him up. I think that'd be our keys to victory.
Yeah, those are all our keys. I think we did a good job with those keys there. Obviously, there's a lot of things we got to take into account heading into the match, but I think we all really nailed down what is important going into the match. Like how Chet took the mental approach, which I think a lot of people overlook. But yeah, boys, I'm nervous. I'm kind of scared to end the pod right now, because it could be the last time we're previewing Italy match for the Euros. Hopefully it's not. But yeah, we're gonna have to end it here.
And think of it this way. Right? Italy gets past Belgium. I don't think there's another team that could stop us. They're number 1 ranked in FIFA. They have the best overall team. France, they have a weaker goalie and they have a weaker defense, I would argue. So just remember this. This is kind of our last big hurdle to prove to the world that what Italy is special.
Yeah. I just want them to play hard. I think if they play hard, they play with the Italian mindset, play with the Italian style, play for remember those who played before them, like the Del Pieros, the Cannavaros. Just play hard and prove to the world why Italy's back. Enzo said it best. This is just a stepping stone for the World Cup. So imagine this team with mainly these guys, with guys like Zaniolo coming in, maybe guys like Pellegrini, and there's always going to be these one or two stars that come out of nowhere, and then we have to make a case. Oh, is this guy going to play? Is this guy going to play? So for me, this is a huge stepping stone, and this is our biggest test so far against Belgium. And if Italy can pass this test, regardless of what happens in the game, obviously I'm going to be sad if they lose. I want them to win, but I'm so proud of the boys. They made it far. Again, this is a stepping stone for the World Cup for me. So just play hard, boys. Just play with the Italian mindset. If you can beat Belgium, then we'll worry about the semis. But just play hard, take it one game at a time, and we need all 11 guys to step up.
Yeah, and the one thing that makes me uncomfortable watching these matches is knowing there's not two legs, only one. So knowing we can play as good as we want, but then one, like, even Belgium just did that, to be honest. Had one shot on target and they won 1-0.
Portugal dominated the entire game, and they just couldn't score.
Especially the second half. That was really their half. The first half, I guess you could say a little bit more even, but that second half, definitely, Portugal really put it on them. And that's what I hate about this tournament. It's like even Austria, like I'm as scared of Austria as I am Belgium or France. I just don't like the feeling of playing well. I honestly rather get killed 7-0 than lose 1-0 after playing amazing. It's the worst feeling knowing that one shot, one lucky thing can happen. Then like the Calcio goal. Imagine we're still tied when that happened, or Juranovic. It could have been over our tournament. So I hate stuff like that.
That Juranovic goal has to be a wake up call for Italy. Again, I think it was. So hopefully it can continue the momentum from the Austria game and just play hard. Like just set the tone early and just get the job done. That's all we ask. But regardless, I'm proud of the boys. They're playing hard. 31 games unbeaten. So right there's something to say about this team. Slowly but surely, we're going to be back to the Azzurri team that we always wanted to be.
Yeah. And, wanted to hear. Thank you for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed it. It was a great pod, in my opinion, at least. I hope you guys enjoyed it. But, we covered a lot. Belgium's going to be a tough task. I'm hoping our Azzurri can bring it home for us and move on to the next round, go into the semis, and continue from there. Check out our social media at Calcio, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all that good stuff. YouTube as well. And we'll see you next time. Ciao.
Ciao.
Ciao.